I'm about to have a conversation with none other than Dale Decker, someone I love dearly. He wanted me to make a video called Why I Crashed Out or Why I've Been Crashing Out. So instead I was like, hey, let's just jump on a call and have a pleasant, nice conversation, but also get maybe into some of the details of what we're working on. Plus, one of you out there recommended that we do a podcast talking about adulting because I feel like we're going through that now. I'm 34, he's 34, we're adulting now. So let's have a conversation with two people who made a living for a very long time as skateboarders, seeing what we're doing now at 34 and trying to get by, essentially. This video is also sponsored by Squarespace, so I will be talking about that as we move forward. The best website for building websites, honestly. So coming up later. I literally have like this mic, so your audio is picking up on my mic too.
Okay,
but,
cool, here, wait. All right.
What's up, dude? Welcome to another video. Somebody was like, you should do a podcast with Dale where y'all talk about like adulting.
Crashing out?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of adulting. I'd say that's a huge part of adulting. Last night you called me and you were like, oh, you should just do a video about crashing out. And I was like, any video that I tried to film talking about it, there's just something like, I don't know, I feel maybe not insecure, but I feel kind of inauthentic recently, as weird as that sounds. Like, I feel like I have a really, probably because I'm not filming as much.
Like, because the world changes, you also change, certain things change, and so it's kind of like, I don't know, it's weird if you don't change, you know?
That's what I was thinking. I don't know, I think we have periods of time where we feel more sensitive. I think where hate gets to us harder. And I think, unfortunately, I think when that does happen, I think it piles on. Like, I think when people feel, I think when you feel more sensitive, you inadvertently sort of act in a way that's maybe more hostile. I want to bring it back to like the big part of our conversation last night was the fact that I was like, oh, so much as, I feel like you kind of called me like the perspective from your perspective, maybe Sarah's perspective, is like, oh, it kind of just looks like you're crashing out on YouTube. Like your vibe on YouTube is sort of like that you're just like kind of losing your mind to an extent. And what I realized, it's this funny thing where you mentioned like you had an era like this as well when your brother died. And my era now, obviously the last year and a half has been really, really intense. But the problem is I haven't been transparent about what's been going on in my life, but all people will see.
I think if people fucking knew that, they'd be like, oh.
And all people will see is me raging, essentially. I'm mad at everything out here.
Dude, like,
but then
it for sure just looks like you were like, I'm like, God damn, dude, he's doing it again.
I know. And like, even like, I remember I uploaded a video, it was like a 23-minute rant, and it wasn't like targeted towards I wasn't like, move. I was just like, oh, this is my life, da, da, da. But Sarah literally, as soon as I uploaded the video was doing really well. And Sarah was like, it's not a good look, I would take it down. Like immediately, just like, it's not a good look, just take it down. And I'm like, oh, okay.
What video was that?
I was just like walking with my iPhone talking in
Was that at night?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and she was just like, take it down. And I was like, all right. And it was like doing really well, ironically, because I was just like, oh, YouTube channel's dead, now what? Instead of,
but it's,
like,
go ahead.
I don't know, it's one of those things where, like, well, first of all, your perspective of it, from your perspective, what does it look like? Because you probably have the similar perspective of what other people have, like my audience.
Dude, yeah.
What does it look like?
I've known you for over 10 years, so I mean, I think people get into this place where they start to like, and I've like tried really hard not to do this, but I have done it. And
so hard not to, but yeah.
Yeah, and like I talked to Chris Roberts about this, and like he kind of said something. He's like, oh, but didn't you already like say you were? And I thought it was weird because like I hadn't, like, so when I made my video of being like, yeah, I'm done with YouTube for now, you know, Chris Roberts was like, he was like, yeah, but didn't you already like make a video saying that like a couple years ago? I'm like, no, but which I didn't. But here's the thing, I came off like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the self-awareness to realize it. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think there's like a space that you get into where you kind of just start venting and using YouTube as this like therapy thing, and it seems like a good idea because like you convince yourself that you're like, oh, I need to post something. I'll just talk about like what's happening, or it just gets weird. Well, here, I think this is the reason why, because I think you do it once, like the first time you do it, or even the first couple, people are like, oh man, that's so sick how vulnerable you're being, and then we're like, yeah,
shit,
okay, cool,
yeah,
I'll be more vulnerable, and then it's just like,
this is the really embarrassing reason, but this is, I think, the real reason, but it's more embarrassing.
For sure, it's super embarrassing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you get this like weird reinforcement about like, and then your ego gets involved and you're like, oh, I'll be the vulnerable guy.
Oh, dude, I've had moments where I watch a video that's like super useful, technically speaking, right? And I'm watching it just like, dude, shut up. Like, I've literally been like halfway through just like, stop talking. And just like, I've felt the way that audiences have said things to me where I'm just like, do something entertaining. Like, anyone can chat GPT the shit you just said. Like, I've literally thought that. But then I watched a video just now of a guy who built like, he turned his suitcase at an airport into like a sleep pod where he could open it up. And it was like this, took 2 weeks, really well-made video, super funny, pointless. Why the fuck would you need that? And I thought, this is fantastic. Like, he took the time to make something interesting, ridiculous, useless to an extent. But I was captivated, and I thought, like, I don't know, like, some part of me is starting to argue with the idea that, like, that there's almost more value in things that are essentially useless in a weird way.
Well, because I think that that's like a part of like what it means to connect with like other people, because you're kind of like sharing your interests and you're sharing what, like, I don't know, maybe even just what your world is like. But when you start like, when you get into that like weird vulnerable trap, like, don't get me wrong, it's good to be like vulnerable, and I think to like, maybe say things that others are afraid of saying, but maybe they're also thinking it. But like, you can't just like only do that, because it turns into this like circle jerk pissing match of everyone that's like sad stroking each other off, just being like, yeah, we're sad,
well, it's exactly what people say when they're like the victim Olympics. It's us falling into the trap of being like, life is hard for me, and people go, man, I feel you, and you go, but life's really hard for me, and they're like, yeah, I feel you, and you're like, man, this feels good, like, hey, life's and then people go, shut up. Like, yeah, we get it, dude, life's tough for all of us. And then you're like, oh, you're right.
That's what I was trying to say. Like, nobody fucking cares about your problems.
Totally.
Like, everyone's got their own shit to worry about. I don't think that guy should like have to click on a video and listen to some guy bitching and complaining.
Especially when like they originally watched the video and it was like, shit, this is fun and this is escapism, and I love a hard day going home and watching a video about like some skate park and some dude skate, because it reminds me of when I was younger skating with my friends. This is super nice. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, now this just reminds me of today. Long story short, obviously your time period, like your brother died, and that was the time period in which you had sort of this stuff going on. Everybody understands, they get it, and it's tough. And then with me, obviously, the last year and a half, I would say that it's similar. A lot of similar things for the last year and a half. And that's
crazy.
Before we move on with this interview, a quick word from our sponsor, Squarespace. I want to talk about the best features that I use with Squarespace. First of all is email campaigns. I think if you are entrepreneurial and you want to build a creative portfolio, the best thing to have is an email campaign, because anybody who subscribes to your newsletter will immediately get your notification no matter what. It's not like other algorithm based. The other thing I want to talk about is building a brand. For any of you out there who's been like, oh, I want to start a clothing brand or some type of merchandise, they now work with a third-party website called Printful, where you don't actually have to carry any of the products, ship them out. They'll even provide pictures of people wearing your products, which is wild. It's such a cool thing. Did my child wake up? Oh, I thought my daughter woke up. I was about to be very... It's really incredible for anybody out there who wants to start off trying to build something with merchandise. I mean, you don't even need to start off. This could be your main gig if you have design ideas that you think will sell. It's also really easy to create a pretty website. They have award-winning templates to choose from, and now they have an AI system where you just put in the kind of sections you want and they'll just pop it up, and it looks fantastic the way it already is set up. The last thing I want to mention is courses. A lot of people are starting courses nowadays, so if you have a special skill and you want to sell through your website, I would recommend having... This is actually a really good funnel. You have a course that you want to sell. You have a lead magnet, which is your email campaign. It's something free that you offer. And then as they subscribe to your email, later on you go, hey, by the way, I do have this course if you want to check it out. And then you create content that also gives free content to people who might want what you sell through your course. So courses as well. It's a great thing. If you want to check it out, click the link in the description down below. Get 10% off your first purchase or domain, or go to squarespace.com/JohnHill to get that same offer. And let's continue our conversation with Del Decker. I feel like I could do the year and a half in 12 seconds. So kid being born 3 months early, being stuck in the NICU for 2 months, having to go every single day.
And baby was born breech, right?
Yeah, breech. And they had to cut Sarah's cervix.
And Sarah also had a staph infection.
Staph infection. Sarah and the baby were both at risk of, like the baby, like our baby had to be resuscitated. Like she wasn't even there when she was born. 2 months of that, going to the NICU back and forth, that was done. And then right when things kind of settled, Sarah's mom was diagnosed with brain cancer. And then a week later, my brother called and he had colon cancer and it was spreading to his liver. And then we decided to move from California to Texas, which is hard, obviously. This is all while raising a child. So, and then me essentially like being like, I can't do YouTube anymore because I'm busy. Like I have to take care of my family and this kid, and it was tough. And then Sarah's grandpa getting diagnosed with cancer. And then in the last month, losing her mom, losing her grandpa, and then me getting a call that my brother might potentially be okay, which is great. But all that being said, yeah, it was a tough year and a half. And it was like, I didn't know how to talk about it. So instead I would just be like, I'm skating today, fucking doing this trick. Da-da-da. Like I was so mad. Like I think the last year and a half I've never been angrier at like everything. And it's been like filtering into my life. But as weird as it sounds, I said this yesterday. I'm gonna get off this. I said this yesterday, but you know, when Sarah's grandpa's funeral happened, it kind of felt like, in this really weird way, it felt like the start of our new lives.
I don't even think that's weird though, dude. I don't think that's like weird to say, because I mean that's kind of pretty real, you know. When these kinds of things happen, it's like, and everyone grieves differently, you know. It's like, especially if there's things you haven't been through before, it's like you don't know how you're gonna react, you don't know how you're gonna handle it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Weirdly, at the end, we kind of got used to all this happening, which is why I told you, like, even when my brother called me and was like, oh, I might not have cancer, I like started crying, and I never cry about things like that. And I was just like, why am I crying? And I was like, oh, it's because good news was so shocking to me that my body didn't know how to react. It's like when blind people or colorblind people put the glasses on and they start crying and they don't know why. I felt like it was like that, where I was like, whoa, why am I crying? This is so weird. So yeah, instead of being like a responsible person and being like, yeah, I'm just gonna get off YouTube for a bit, work through this, do the things that I say I'm going to do, and then slowly start getting back into it. I was like, well, I want to film because it's my escapism. Like, I need to go skate and not think about all this shit. But then I would still be mad. So when I set up the camera, I'm like, people can feel it. And then when people are commenting,
they don't know why. They just think that you're like, they just think that it's
drama.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah. When someone was like, yeah, I feel like John's about to kill himself or something. And I'm like, which is kind of funny, but I'm also like, yeah, dude, like, not that, okay, that's an exaggeration, but it's like, yeah. I mean, when things are that tough, you get so, like, I was so in some other fucking weird, universe. Dude. Yeah, you get weird. You get like, I mean, I think seeing all that in the last year and a half, all it did was make life seem extremely finite. And I think when life feels super finite, you do panic. I mean, you go like, oh, fuck, what am I doing? And then, like, to me, the YouTube thing, it's like, your brain also goes like, well, I've done YouTube for 10 years. How much longer? If I do it for 10 more years, then I'm going to die. Like, life's going to end. And then, I don't know, I started getting really like, this shit is super finite. What should I do for the next, like, 10 years? Because I could die, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I have this conversation with myself all the time, because, like, when my brother died, that, like, my mortality became super real also. And I think that kind of also, like, sucks a little bit too, because then you kind of, like, make it about you. But I think that's also just, like, inevitable that you're gonna, like, realize that when something like that happens.
Yeah. So how about this? How about we wrap up with a little, so what are you up to now? What are you trying to do?
The game plan is to, like, eventually, and I've been wanting to do this since I created the second channel, but like get my second channel to be the one that brings me a living revenue. So you're
still optimistic about YouTube, even after like 8 years. You're still feeling good about it.
100%. I think you can always bring like a dead channel back. I think you like.
Well, yeah, that for sure. Yeah, that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and
if you just start making good videos, yeah.
Because like I've been doing YouTube for almost 9 years now, but in that time frame I have had like other real like jobs, you know what I mean? So it's like every time I go and do that, I'm like, Corey's the exception. Corey like doesn't feel like a real job, even though sure you can classify it as like that is what I do for, you know, work, but I don't like it.
Yeah, of course. Well, I don't think it's a stretch to do that with you, because you've done it before on YouTube, so it's just kind of more doing it, more of the same. I think it looks like a lot of people are kind of in that same boat, which is kind of interesting. Like, I feel like everybody had a pretty hard, like, oh, this is tough. But, you know, you, Garrett, I saw Chris Chan upload the other day. Lamont Holt clearly is like on a Lamont Holt, like when he gets into it, he gets really into it for a while. So I feel like everybody kind of feels that way in our sphere, which is kind of nice. I kind of like it when it feels like there's an energy that's like shared between more than one person. Like I always feel pretty isolated in this career. But yeah, I mean, I would say that I feel pretty similarly. I think the last year and a half has completely shut my brain off from it. Like I've been like, this sucks. I don't want to do this. I don't want to skate for YouTube anything. But it's funny when you can breathe, when your head's above water a bit, you go and you find yourself on YouTube watching skate videos or whatever, watching like a YouTube skater. I'm like, this is fun. I'm like, I love this video. Who is this? What is it? I'm like, skateboard YouTube. What? I'm like, oh wait, I do this. And then I start going like, huh? Or, you know, I see like a weird video, like the guy who did the weird and luggage. And I'm like, I should make a weird video. You know, when you start feeling that again, I think it's a really fun, good feeling. And I think like, yeah, at the end of the day, when we're in it, there's kind of nothing better. It's fun, you know. It can be tough depending on what else is. Honestly, it sucks because external has a lot to do with how you feel doing a creative job.
What do you mean?
Just like if life is hard, then then the creative job feels like extra hard. But I think that's anything, right? Like literally, like no matter what job you're doing or what you're doing. Really I'm getting more into like being able to do shit because I like the final product, even if you don't make money doing it. You know, like I'm working on like.
It's gonna win every time. That's what's gonna win every time.
Yeah.
It all comes back to like all the fucking shit that like people used to say. Like, yeah, you got to be like somewhat savvy, somewhat financially smart or whatever. But like, dude, you like chasing the dollar never gets anything.
Well, because you burn out. You will,
chase what you want. You gotta chase what you like are passionate about. And I mean, that is like the fucking age old, like that's the dream that we were sold, but like I've also seen it to be true. So
it is,
you know?
it's a good way to reframe the slow and steady wins the race, the tortoise and the hare being like something that you don't enjoy but will probably get views, the turtle being something that you do enjoy but doesn't get as many views over time. Yeah.
Here's the thing, the turtle or the hare in that situation, I don't think is necessarily whether or not like you enjoy what you're doing and getting less views, or you enjoy less of what you're doing and getting more views. I think the turtle and the hare in that situation is more so your perspective, like your perspective of like, oh, I might not enjoy this, but let's not think about what I don't like. Let's think about the good things about this. And you know, because Corey talks about this a lot. He's like, yeah, dude, slow and steady, slow growth. You have to scale slowly. He's like, my entire career, I've always been about scaling slowly. So I mean, like you scale too fast, your shit can like literally implode.
Yeah. Real quick though, what are like your religious views?